This video will cover installation of the PeopleNet 2-pin engine data connections in International LT sleeper cabs. Note that day cabs are connected in a different position than these, so if you have a day cab, go ahead and switch to the video that covers those. For a printable PDF version of this, please go to the PeopleNet Online Support Center and search on the word International. That will show a list of the available documents. Now the connector in this vehicle is located inside the dash above that green diagnostic connector, so we're going to remove the two panels down at the driver's feet. If this were a day cab, the connector would be over on the passenger side. It's much more accessible. We've got some disassembly to do on this vehicle. These screws are T30 Torx heads, and then the top of the panel is held in place with little clips that will pop out once all the screws are out. And then there's this bolt to the side. This is a 13 metric. You can also use a half standard if that's all you have. And then for illustration purposes, I'm going to remove the kick plate. This isn't absolutely necessary, but I want to show you what the connector is going to look like when we get inside the dash. The screws on this kick plate are T20 Torx heads. Alright, pop that up, and then it's difficult to see, but back here in the corner there's another version of this connector. It's right there, sort of behind the seatbelt assembly. And what you're looking for is a label that says 250K. There you go, that's your terminating resistor there. There are three engine data circuits inside the International LTs. The one we're looking for is the 250K baud rate. There's also a 500K, which is what's on the diagnostic plug. And then there's a 125K, which is used just for accessories like the headlights and those sorts of things. Whenever we find our connector in this, it's very important that we check the label and make sure that it says 250K. Alright, we'll now pop out that lower left panel, set it aside, and then again with the main panel there are some clips at the top, so we're just going to carefully pop that directly back. And keep an eye out while you do that. Like in this case, you'll see that little white clip popped out. I'll just have to reattach that to the tab when I put it back together. Alright, to locate our connectors, we're going to follow this bundle of 4 cable sets that's going up the A-pillar from the brake module there on the left. From those connectors up about 4 to 6 inches, you'll see two black 2-pin connectors with yellow and green wires. They're taped to the wire bundles. I'm going to reach up with my fingers and sort of bend that tape around a little bit to release the connectors. It can take a little finesse, but once we get those out, we'll pull the connector down and then confirm which one is the 250K and which is the 125K. Now there may be an urge to reach in there and cut that tape. I really don't recommend it just because of how many small wires are in the area. So we jump here to the connector coming out. And as you can see, that is the 250K terminating resistor. The 125 is still up there. I grabbed the correct one first. So to make our connection, we'll take the PeopleNet 2-pin cable, either from your PMG or your MBA. The J1708 there, which is the black head with a red and orange wire, will not be used on this truck, so we can tie that off. Then we'll take the L-016-0153 kit, which has all of our adapters in it. Take the one out that's labeled MAC 2008 Plus. We'll open that bag up and connect those two adapters to the end of the PeopleNet cable. Now we'll take the terminating resistor off the end of the truck connector, and we're going to connect that to the PeopleNet. And that terminating resistor, it looks like a cap, but it's actually a pretty important part of the circuit. That jumps from the green to the yellow with a consistent resistance, and that completes the circuit for the vehicle. Without that connector, there can be dash issues, check engine light, worst case there could be a D-rate. So make sure that that is on the end of the connection. On the opposite end, we'll connect the PeopleNet to the vehicle, and now we have a complete circuit going from the vehicle through the PeopleNet and ending at the terminating resistor. To verify our connections, start the engine, then on the PeopleNet screen, navigate to System, OBC Diagnostic, Diagnostic Performex. Verify that the RPM is reading, then verify that the odometer matches the dash. There may be a deviation in the odometer depending on whether or not the engine and the dash match in the vehicle. If there is a deviation and you would like to adjust for it, you can do that either through the OBC Administration menu in the ECM odometer offset, or you can have the system administrator toggle the setting from engine odometer to dash odometer. Also verify that the fuel value is greater than 0. For issues or concerns, contact PeopleNet Technical Support at 888-346-3486, extension 1.